What are some examples of an inventor getting killed by their own invention? The French man who tried to invent a parachute and died when he decided to prove his invention was okay by jumping off the Eiffel Tower. He ran multiple tests before that, and they all went terribly. It was a calculated risk, but math was never his strong suit. Thomas Midgley Jr., a key contributor to leaded gasoline and the usage of CFC in refrigeration. After contracting polio, he created a system of pulleys and whatnot to help him get out of bed. He was found dead at age 55 after getting tangled in his device and being strangled by it. I think there's a study that the general intelligence of people living near roads dropped while leaded gasoline, was used in gasoline. I had a patient with a very high lead level, checked with parents, and no lead paint in house, no lead pipes. They lived beside a road that had previously been extremely busy but now is not due to a bypass in the area. The lead was in the dirt beside the road and the kid liked to play with construction toys and was constantly digging in the area. They built a digging area in the backyard where there were no detectable levels of lead. They had the dirt in the front yard removed within 50 feet of the roadway, where the highest lead levels were found. Kids' lead levels returned to normal. Sounds like an episode of House. The man who did so much damage to the earth trying to do some good for the world. He's repeatedly been cited as the single largest negative impact an individual has ever had on the climate. Not killed, but the founder of Match.com, Gary Kreeman, lost his girlfriend to a man that she met on Match.com. Fun fact: the Match Group owns at least 24 of the most popular dating sites. They've also been known to be using fake profiles for the last 15 or so years, in an attempt to encourage male visitors to upgrade their accounts to attempt to connect to these fake women. They create several thousand fake profiles per day, every day, then close them at the end of the day, only to start again the next day. I personally spoke to a developer who worked at one of the lesser dating sites owned by Match Group at an industry conference, and he directly said, "You gotta do what you gotta to do, pull in subscribers." In the context of generating fake profiles and using bots to chat with real male subscribers to encourage them to upgrade. The same goes with fake profile views and likes, which encourage real human males to visit those profiles reciprocally, causing more clicks and reciprocal likes of fake profiles, and more upgrades, from free to paid accounts. Why are they primarily targeting the male audience? Because there's a 500-to-1 ratio of human males to human females on these dating apps, and the chances of meeting a human female via these apps is very, very slim, given the actual competition, so they inflate the numbers by introducing fake profiles to make it seem like there's more human females available than there are. Now, they've introduced AI to make the bots smarter and more human-like, but they're still not real humans behind greater than 75% of the accounts. Not the inventor, but rather the owner of the Segway, Jimmy Heselden, accidentally rode off a cliff on a Segway. Jesus, you just brought back memories of cities being filled with Segways before e-scooters happened. I remember before the Segway came out, the news was going crazy about how it would be this revolutionary technology. There was talk of free energy for cities, personal hover cars. They said cities would be rebuilt around the technology, and there would be no more roads, etc. All sorts of crazy shit. Then it came out and, well, yeah, huge disappointment after all the hype. It's a shame that they never came down in price to be affordable by normal people, because they were fun as hell to ride. Max Valier tried using alcohol-based fuel for rockets. It blew up in his lab, killing him. Is it an invention though? I don't think it's in use today. I guess the exception is labs that burn alcohol for flame, but not for fuel. That Indian lad who was flight testing his own homemade helicopter. Part of the rotor sliced open his head. Maria Sklodowska-Curie was one of the discoverers of radioactivity. She discovered polonium and radium. As far as I know, researchers did not believe that radioactivity might have a negative impact on their bodies, and therefore they used little to no protection. Marie Curie invented the theory of radioactivity, the treatment of radioactivity, and dying of radioactivity. Oddly enough, it was her work with X-ray imaging that is thought to have done her the most harm. I was at a used bookstore and found a book for science fair projects. I think the book was printed in the 30s. There was a chapter about building your own X-ray machine with a bill of material for parts listed by the manufacturer. I wished I bought the book. Chemistry sets from the 50s and earlier were wild too. Uranium and explosive substances for the kids to play with. Safety wasn't invented yet. Not an inventor, exactly, but Luis Jimenez, the artist who created Lucifer, Demon Horse of Denver International Airport. I was looking for this one. Those creepy glowing eyes get me every time. Yes, crushed by Lucifer, and died of his injuries. Actually, a piece fell off and severed the artery in his leg, and he bled out, which sounds even worse. Louis Slotin Demon Core accidentally started a nuclear reaction during a nuclear criticality demonstration, zapped himself with a lethal dose of radiation. Not sure if he was the inventor. Immediately, all 8 scientists in the room felt a wave of heat accompanied by a blue flash as the plutonium sphere vomited an invisible burst of gamma and neutron radiation into the room. As the lab's Geiger counter clicked hysterically, Slotin used his bare hand to push the beryllium dome off and onto the floor, which terminated the prompt critical reaction moments after it began. Well, Slotin said gravely, that does it. Not sure if this was the same Demon Core incident, but they also had the presence of mind to immediately mark where everyone was standing in the room, which they then used to calculate the received dosages of radiation per person. Always struck me as a calm and professional immediate response to a terrifying situation that should never have been allowed in the first place, and I can only hope that people like this are everywhere we need them to be. Some ancient Greek dude created a torture device called the Brazen Bull. It's just a large metal husk shaped like a bull where you put a victim inside and heat the bottom. The burning heat and scalding metal will cause the victim to go to a horn inside the husk in an attempt to breathe. The horn will make it sound like bull noises on the outside. The inventors showed a king his contraption. The king was delighted by it and decided to test it out on the inventor. The king, Phalaris, took the inventor, Paralos, out of the bull right before killing him, only to then take him to a hill and push him down. It was actually King Phalaris who died inside the bull, after he was overthrown by Telemachus. Well, in King Phalaris's defense, he did that to the inventor because he was so disgusted by the fact the inventor was so smug and excited about this torture device. Possibly Vladimir Putin, if the Wagner Group catches up with him. Yeah, it's not so much that he lacked a plan B in his design of annexation. It's that he didn't have a step 2 for plan A. Solomon Epstein was messing around with drive technology, and thinking he was just adding some efficiency to his design, then discovered a breakthrough in propulsion. Sadly, his autonomous controls malfunctioned and his sheer velocity prevented him from turning off his accidental invention, but he knew that his wife, who was also an engineer, was working on the system with him, and his discovery benefit mankind forever. The Epstein drive changed history. Dr. Charles Drew is one of the most egregious examples. Dr. Charles Drew perfected blood transfusions. He fell asleep at the wheel and lost lots of blood during the automobile accident. Since he was black, racist Jim Crow-era laws in America denied him the right to the life-saving blood transfusion that he invented to save his life. Frankenstein. The guy who invented the Atkins diet died from doing it. The guy who invented Vaseline got obsessed with it. Thought it was a health miracle. Ate so much of it that he died. What a fact, it's a petroleum product. How do you think that's going to cure you? Jack Parsons, rocket scientist who founded the Jet Propulsion Laboratory and pioneered both liquid and solid fuel for rockets, exploded in his home lab while mixing fulminate of mercury in a coffee can. According to Nietzsche, God. The guy who built the Titanic, Thomas Andrews. Thomas Andrews was an Irish businessman and shipbuilder. As the naval architect in charge of the plans for the ocean liner RMS Titanic, he was traveling on board that vessel during her maiden voyage when the ship hit an iceberg on April 14, 1912. He perished along with more than 1,500 others. His body was never recovered. The French King Louis XVI helped design the guillotine as a method of execution. During the French Revolution, he would end up decapitated by the very machination he helped to create. Horace Hunley was killed testing his submersible boat H.L. Hunley during the American Civil War. While the boat did sink a federal warship on its only operational cruise, it didn't survive. OceanGate. A submersible with the structural integrity of a sardine can, controlled by a knockoff PlayStation controller. Pioneered by Stockton Crushed, formerly known as Stockton Rush. Which inventors died from their own inventions? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.